Hello. We at Los Angeles County Public Works are here to provide information on flood insurance for urban and rural areas which can be found in Los Angeles County. Los Angeles County Public Works is the floodplain manager for the county's unincorporated areas. There are 85 other cities in the county that have their own floodplain managers. This presentation focuses on flood risks and flood insurance through the National Flood Insurance Program. No area is free of risk, including Los Angeles County. It's a matter of knowing your risk and being prepared for it. Los Angeles County has a wide variety of geographical features. The county has multiple microclimates. The county has always had weather extremes. And the county is subject to a flood-drought cycle. Rains result in vegetation sprouting. Dry seasons and droughts dry out the vegetation. And dry vegetation is susceptible to wildfires. Sometimes the dry periods last so long that people forget that it rains in Los Angeles County. And when it does, the rains can be intense. Floods in Los Angeles County can occur very quickly. We call these flash floods. Intense rainfall events on burned watersheds result in large debris flows. These effects are being magnified due to climate change. Flooding occurs all over the country, so reducing flooding impacts is a concern of the federal government. Congress enacted the National Flood Insurance Program, or NFIP, primarily in response to the lack of availability of private insurance and continued increases in federal assistance after flood disasters. Los Angeles County joined the NFIP to allow residents access to NFIP flood insurance and federal flood disaster assistance. Defining flood risk is a vital task under the National Flood Insurance Program, so FEMA developed flood insurance rate maps. We'll discuss special flood hazard areas in the next slides. A special flood hazard area is a region inundated by a flood that has a 1 in 100 annual chance of occurring, commonly referred to as the 100-year flood. The 100-year flood is also known as the base flood, a national standard used by the National Flood Insurance Program, or NFIP, and all federal agencies. The enforcement of NFIP regulations is required for the county's participation in the NFIP, which means that federally backed flood insurance is available to residents in the unincorporated areas of Los Angeles County. For Los Angeles County, the special flood hazard areas are mapped as A zones or V zones. A zone A, the flood risk is less defined, which can lead to higher flood insurance rates. Zones AE, AH, AO, and VE, the risk is better defined. They have base flood elevations or depths, which can lead to lower insurance rates than those of Zone A. Now, you may think a 1% annual chance isn't that much of a risk, but over the years, the odds of flooding add up. Over the life of a 30-year mortgage, the odds of the base flood occurring is over 1 in 4, or 26%. Over a 100-year period, the chances of the base flood occurring is about 63%. This is why special flood hazard areas have flood insurance requirements for federally backed funding on structures. Insurance mandates from federally backed loans are required for the life of the loan. For structures that receive FEMA grants, flood insurance must be continually maintained, even if ownership changes. A lapse in coverage means that one is ineligible for federal flood disaster assistance. FEMA maps other zones outside of special flood hazard areas that are of lesser or unknown flood risk. Structures in areas outside the special flood hazard areas can get flood insurance, but it's not federally mandated unless you get a Small Business Administration loan. You can reach Public Works' Flood Zone Determination website through the Water for LA County website's Flood Preparedness webpage. Public Works' Flood Zone Determination website can identify the FEMA flood zones on every property in Los Angeles County. Just click on your property or enter your property's address. The Flood Zone website has links to the actual FEMA flood insurance rate maps and to elevation certificates associated with finished permitted construction in unincorporated areas. The certificates only go back to the mid-1990s. Elevation certificates done by homeowners themselves for insurance purposes are not included. The Flood Zone app is also mobile friendly. You can also get the FEMA flood zones for your property at FEMA's MAP Service Center. No area is entirely free of flood risk. Standard homeowners policies don't cover flood damage. That's why structures with federally backed loans and grants, and are also in special flood hazard areas, are required to get a separate flood insurance policy. Flood insurance covers damages to structures and much of the contents. FEMA and the county encourage all homeowners to maintain flood insurance, even if it's not mandated. Renters, too. Lots of flooding occurs from events that are not mapped by FEMA. For example, floods larger than that mapped by FEMA, flood hazards from local drainage issues, and other unmapped hazards, such as water main breaks and damaged fire hydrants. You can file flood insurance claims outside federally declared disasters. FEMA has overhauled the way its flood insurance premiums are calculated. Disasters of the last 20 years has put the National Flood Insurance Program, or NFIP, over $20 billion in debt to the National Treasury. The NFIP needed to be put on a solid financial footing. So policies are now based on full risk rates. For those of you who have had flood insurance for many years, you will have noticed that the preferred risk policies for X zones have been phased out. For those with policies existing prior to 2021 to 2022 are now on a glide path to full risk rates. There's an 18% maximum increase per year until the full risk rate is reached. The Community Rating System, or CRS, is a voluntary program within the NFIP. We'll talk about the CRS a little later. Here's an overview of insurance coverage for residential buildings typically found in urban areas. As you can see, coverage is available for single-family homes, small and large apartment buildings, and condominiums. Your insurance agent can help you with your specific building. Here's an overview of insurance coverage for residential buildings typically found in rural areas. As you can see, coverage is available for single-family homes and mobile or manufactured homes. Your insurance agent can help you with your specific building. Here's an overview of insurance coverage for non-residential buildings, urban and rural. In general, an insurable structure has at least 2 solid walls and a fixed roof. As you can see, coverage is available for garages and other accessory structures, such as barns. Again, your insurance agent can help you with your building. Here's an overview of the wide range of things that are covered by National Flood Insurance Program policies. It's important to note that although coverage for basements is limited, important appliances commonly kept in them are covered. Ask an insurance agent for more details. Now, let's talk about several important things that are not covered by the National Flood Insurance Program policies in the urban and rural areas. It is important to highlight that flood insurance does not cover debris removal that's not associated with damage to structures and their contents. For customers' goods, you will need a separate type of insurance to cover them. We recommend you ask an insurance agent for more details. A repetitive loss property is defined by FEMA as a property with 2 or more individual claims of $1,000 or greater over a 10-year rolling period since 1978. A severe repetitive loss property is defined as 4 or more separate claims payments greater than $5,000 each, including building and contents payments since 1978, or 2 or more separate claims payments, building payments only, since 1978, where the total of the payments is greater than the property's current value. Claims by different owners count towards the total number of claims on the property. Properties do not have to be in special flood hazard areas to get this designation. More than 1/3 of paid-out National Flood Insurance Program policy claims are for properties outside special flood hazard areas. Owners will be informed by FEMA or their insurer if their property is a repetitive loss property or severe repetitive loss property. The $1,000 and $5,000 thresholds are low, and the consequences of getting classified as a repetitive loss property or severe repetitive loss property are significant. So, policyholders should be very selective when deciding to file a flood insurance claim. Property owners who do not use their National Flood Insurance Program or NFIP insurance claim payouts to fix the damages to their property may negatively impact the NFIP insurance claims of subsequent owners or their tenants. There have been proposals to deny NFIP insurance to repetitive loss properties, especially severe repetitive loss properties that are not modified or mitigated to address the flood hazard. The owner of record for a property can contact the NFIP Help Center by phone or online to find out the property's repetitive loss status. The Federal Privacy Act prohibits disclosing the repetitive loss status to anyone but the owner of record. Los Angeles County Public Works also sends out annual informational mailers to owners of repetitive loss properties. Prospective buyers and renters can take advantage of California's hazard disclosure laws and ask owners and landlords outright whether a property is a repetitive loss property. Owners and landlords will likely at some point in their ownership know or be informed of their property status. They will be required to answer such questions truthfully. We want to tell you about the National Flood Insurance Program's Community Rating System, or CRS. Los Angeles County entered the CRS to get flood insurance discounts for unincorporated area residents. CRS participants adopt higher building standards than the National Flood Insurance Program's minimum requirements. The lowest floors and building components must be at least 1 foot higher than the FEMA base flood elevation. CRS activities get audited every 5 years. Los Angeles County's CRS class is based on the audit results. FEMA now requires annual audits of the elevation certificates. The annual number of elevation certificates issued in the unincorporated areas is so low, a single incorrect certificate is troublesome for Los Angeles County. The county undertakes a lot of outreach activities to obtain CRS credits. The floodplain management plan and repetitive loss area analysis must get updated every 5 years. The 2020 update was adopted by the Board of Supervisors in June 2021. They contain measures which include annual informational mailings to flood-prone owners and residents, lenders and realtors, and insurance companies. It is challenging to reach rural renters whose mail is delivered to P.O. boxes instead of the properties themselves. Annual progress reports to FEMA are also included. Go to the Water for LA County website's flood preparedness webpage to get to the flood zone determination website. The Flood Zone app is also mobile-friendly. We are here to assist. Please reach out to us if you have additional questions. For viewers located in incorporated cities in Los Angeles County, Public Works' National Flood Insurance Program and County Floodways website has a link to contacts for the city's floodplain managers. We encourage you to look at these additional presentations, which provide useful information on preparing for, handling, and recovering from flood events. If you don't see a flood risk presentation for your area, just hold on. There will be. Thank you. We hope this information on flood insurance helps you learn about how flood insurance helps you prepare for and recover from flood events. We at Los Angeles County Public Works wish you a good day and hope you stay safe.